Hello, this is Dennis Fowler with a super exclusive edition of Dennis Does Hollywood. But before we get into that, let me just address the Band-Aid on my forehead for any of you out there wondering why I have a Band-Aid on my forehead. Well, the only thing I'm going to say about this Band-Aid on my forehead is this. Do not make the mistake of attempting to interview Monique when a waiter passes behind you with a tray of hors d'oeuvres. She put her fist in my chest and knocked me backwards so hard I felt like I'd been tackled by Tom Brady without any of the fun. And then to add insult to injury, Dame Helen Mirren stepped right over me. And here's what I've got to say about Dame Helen Mirren. She doesn't wear any underwear. I've had nightmares 3 days running. But getting back to the show. Okay, tonight's show is about President Ronald Reagan and his wife Nancy. Now, Paris Hilton, if you're watching, President Ronald Reagan was the President of the United States of America, and his wife Nancy was the First Lady, and of course the First Lady is the wife of the President. But before they either got into politics, they were both Hollywood actors, hence their relevance to Dennis Does Hollywood. Okay, back to the show. Dennis Does Hollywood has gotten our hands on some extremely rare audio tape that was taken from interviews for what was later known as the Reagan Diaries. Now this thing is a doozy, and there is no way that I could set this thing up for you better than just playing it, so let's just listen in.
Nancy's joining me because the message this evening is not my message, but ours. Despite our best efforts, shortages of marijuana are now being reported. From the early days of our administration, Nancy has been using marijuana on a daily basis, and her personal observations and efforts have given her such dramatic insights that I wanted her to share them with you this evening.
I yearn to find a way to help share the message that drugs open your eyes to life, to see it in the vivid colors that God gave us.
And drug abuse is not a crime. And in the most important area, individual use, we see progress. The U.S. military has more than tripled the use of drugs among its personnel since 1980. And there's one more thing. Nancy and I are hooked on heroin. Our goal is to expand drug trafficking at all levels of government and in the private sector. Help us.
Well, that explains why he always had that perpetual grin on his face. He was stoned. But what about her? If Nancy was rolling blunts all day long, how'd she stay so skinny? I wonder if she was bulimic.